All right. Good morning, YouTube. We are disembarking the struggle bus from the last couple days, rejoining the living. How you all doing? Think we'll be able to pull through this okay? We're gonna get this thing warmed up a little bit. Give it some time. Looks like our weather situation has cleared up a little bit since the last time we joined you. We had some decent weather come through here. A little bit of rain just about every day. We even made the news here. We'll get to in a minute. See if we get some people to join us here for a minute. Let it continue to see what's going on. But yeah, the weather situation is pretty clear. That's what we've been dealing with. Matter of fact, there was a link on the Weather Channel from a couple days ago. Mudslide came through. This is just south of us, down the California border, actually. Real nice place to visit if you ever get to go. But yeah, check this video out here. This is a mudslide that came across the road. Is it? When they got done cleaning this thing up, it was like 5 feet deep of mud. It even tells you so. Thought there was a little bit more video of it coming across the road, but the road was reopened yesterday, I believe. It was closed a day and a half or so. Guy making the video was commenting that he would try it if he had his Jeep. Of course. Hey, good morning, Alicia. How you doing? Barry Wood has joined us. Yeah, we've been getting the little afternoon, evening sprinkles and showers, depending on where you're at. And this morning's nice and sunny. But it's been nice to have the cloudy days. Not been so hot. Only been in the 70s around here. So we're enjoying it while it lasts. The days of 90 are just a short distance away, probably. That was a good chat you guys had yesterday, Alicia. That was Modwayne. I don't know why he doesn't have more viewers. Is that the EU suppression system in effect? Yeah, Barry, I'll take anything in the 70s is nice. I mean, around here, 80's not bad. It's manageable in the dryness. We in the dry heat, right? Walter Davis, good morning. How's it going? All right, we'll move on. I've got a lot of stuff backlogged here, so I'm going to try to cut through this a little quickly. Links are below in the description box. But the sign of apocalypse, we'll start off with our first sign of the apocalypse, or signs of things that would never happen to me. This has gone pretty viral since it happened. But the parents took their 30-year-old son to court to evict him from their home. And I'm sitting there thinking, what stopped you from throwing his junk on the yard and telling him to get out? But he legitimately went to court and tried to argue his case that he didn't deserve to be kicked out, that he had to be provided a notice of eviction and that he had tenant rights. And the judge, I think, was probably beside himself that even got to his point. But that was a real thing. And yeah, things that you won't see me going to his court. If I want my kids out, they'll be gone. But if I want to stay around, that's fine too. Nothing wrong with having your 30-year-old live with you if that's okay with you. But if you're wanting him out and he won't leave, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't pay rent and he doesn't help out. You let him live there way too long, like 30 years too long, if he wasn't helping out especially. Ultimately, that's what the judge said that got him, was that he didn't have a contract, a lease agreement, so tenant rights didn't apply to him. No contract, right? No contract, state doesn't get involved. There's a letter from 18 February 2018 that they wrote to him. Here's $1,100 for you so you can find a place to stay. They gave him some advice, 4 pieces of advice that they gave him. I can't believe it took them this long. This is just sad that, wow, just at a certain point, you gotta just let them go. Like, have their stuff down at Goodwill and tell them where to go get it. Multiple letters from February. Several letters explicitly telling him to get out. Like telling him to his face wasn't working. So this guy was definitely a millennial. Oh, man. So that's your sign of the apocalypse. It takes people are taking their kids to court to get them out of their house instead of just getting their stuff in the street. Hey, good morning, TR Prepper. Thanks for joining us. Right, TR, certain people have more productive lives than others. Yeah, I think most people at least were helping, even if they were staying at home and going to school or whatever. Everybody's a little different, but dang, to do nothing and just suck at life till you're 30 and probably till you're 50 with this guy, I don't think he has much of a shot. It's the sign of the apocalypse because that's the next generation. For what it is. Stock market had a little bit of a shakeup yesterday, or I should say, the Feds came out and made a statement yesterday that was quite shocking to the core, I guess you'd say. They said they're going to let inflation run, and I can't find the article now. Close that. But if you missed it, I put it on G+. But this Fed has been committed to interest rate raises over the year, 3 to 4 or so. And they came out yesterday and said that they were going to let inflation run above their projections of 2% and not touch interest rates until later. If that doesn't tell you how scared they are of raising interest rates, I don't know what else does. Very telling admission, and I couldn't find the article again this morning. I guess it was out of cycle before I could get it pulled up. But if they start letting inflation get away, I mean, who doesn't think inflation's already out of control would be kind of the question. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there we go. So I'll get this over to your links in the description box after we're complete here. Yeah, but what defines was supposed to be a temporary period. That lasted for 10 years. 8 years, I guess. Then they came up with all kinds of other ways to manipulate the market. But yeah, it's going to get interesting. People relying on this system and going to end up biting everybody. So something to keep an eye on. They say they're going to, and the thing is that we've been in recovery for, essentially since 2010. And they say they're going to let inflation run above the 2% target as the economy continues to recover, when we're basically at highs and peaks on all the markets. Like, if it's not recovered now, how bad is the inflation side going to be before they call it a recovery? So something to watch out for. Watch the bond prices. Let's keep hold the bond prices down, so that's going to keep the inflation up. So watch out. What's going on in the side chat here? Tactical Tony joined us. Oh no, snap. Yeah. Yeah, the bad thing about the Todd Pod kids is TR is with this generation is like, you've got the handful that are pretty decent, but they got nobody to lead, nobody to inspire and to move forward. Like, everybody's not on the same level. Like, we're not all have the same capability, but at least we had the ability to join together to accomplish things. This generation, oh, we're in bad shape. Yeah. Yeah, Barry, their brains just run out. Oh my goodness. Right. Yeah, it's bad for sure. So we'll see what the Fed says next time around. If they say the June meeting, they'll debate over how they might end. This is what's funny. Within this context of their statement, the Fed says there's a substantial level of debate over how the Fed should approach inflation. The minutes also pointed to an interest rate hike at the June meeting and debate over how close the Fed might be getting to the end of this rate hiking cycle. I'm pretty sure the total amount of all the Fed rate hikes isn't even a half a percentage point, I should say. I think all total, it's not even been that much. And they're already talking about ending their rate hiking cycle. They're scared to death. And if they do raise it anymore, it probably have drastic consequences. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh, we'll just assume you still live with your parents' special ed. Right on. We'll just take that as a joke. Next up, the Russian situation has been proceeding. Oh, that's a different article. We've been asked to move back into the Baltic area. This is on Zero Hedge, based off of a Strategic Culture Foundation report. Baltic states they concluded their meeting. They were in Washington, D.C. last week, apparently, May 16th to 18th. And they asked John Warmonger Bolton, to reinforce NATO battalions that have been deployed to their countries. So that's not good. Continue to poke at the bear, surround him with knives, and expect him to act peacefully. So that's in there to consider lots of different military numbers, combat strengths, all that good stuff, staging of troops. Staging exercises. The thing that's funny is here is nothing is working to ease the tensions. The agreement to ease prevention of incidents and the agreement on the prevention of dangerous military activities seem forgotten and dust covered. No one appears to remember they even exist. Incidents and dangerous activities take place regularly, especially during exercises. The agreements do nothing to prevent them. Huh. They conclude this last paragraph. These exercises, which are in truth provocations into the longing of the require the status of frontline states, the absence of any Russia-NATO dialogue aimed at addressing security issues, infrastructure to launch an offensive operation, and the growing American presence inside states that share a common border with Russia. All these developments are fraught with dire consequences. NATO for the present state of affairs, and the Baltic states have greatly helped to turn Northern Europe into a real hot. How you doing? Talking about encircling Russia. So that another leadoff article from the day. Russia. What are we worried about? Well, I mean, we send a lot of these. Click over here. It's like it's a problem. Here it looks like it's a problem. Anybody got any notes of interest on their end while I wait for this to unseize itself? Or Microsoft? Or is it operator? Maybe the Russians didn't like me talking about them and they. Okay, here we go. Came up on, and I closed the wrong article. Dadgummit. Of course. All right, Zero Hedge. So Russia gold reserves are the fifth surge to the fifth largest in the world, and the supposition here, of course, is going on their own currency and whatnot, being financial superiority. Although those that claim to have the largest gold reserves probably can't prove it. The U.S. So the Central Russian 1,400,000 16, another 224 tons, or 7,002,000 ounces in 2017. So they're just stocking up the gold like we've been speculating that the Chinese have been doing. Some of it has been formally released, some of it has not. But there's an example of the accumulation of the gold by the Russian central bank. Addition and subtraction since 1997. Monthly purchases over the last few years. Russia's adding to gold reserves at a faster pace than China. From March 2016 to May of 2017, China added 45 tons of gold to its reserves, while Russia added 246 tons, or 447% more. And the Chinese have been adding quite, at a pretty good pace. Oh, shown at the bottom of the page. Let's go. So as the Russians and Chinese continue to move towards some sort of independence, especially we talk about buying dollars, that puts us more at risk for more inflation, like we've talked about. For one, less stability in our currency. So we'll have this in the description box. Tony, you just getting back from work today, or what's your schedule like now? I can't keep up. I think you're just getting back from work. If I remember your chat yesterday morning. This is not working at all. The crazy Scotsman is doing. So moving on. gun running and other stuff due to security interest. There was and I had to find it again. There was a good article, FBI self-justifying themselves. Oh, did I drop? Am I back? All right. That was weird. That's never happened. Was that before or after I started talking about the CIA undermining foreign governments? What are the odds? Talk about the CIA, they start cutting your stream. Uh, that figures. Well, we'll put this link in there and you can read and hypothesize yourself. Hate to see this get, and we're still not back. We're not still not back full strength here. Um, yeah, we're still gonna have, but we'll put this in the link below. Um, but there was another article that I need to dig up that was speaking of the FBI and CIA self-justifying their existence over the years. And basically making a reason for them to exist more than they actually need to exist. I'm gonna need to get up here. Okay, we might be back among. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll just move on. um, but in the refugee status situation, South Africa farmers trying to move to Australia seeking refuge. Been following the South Africa thing for quite some time. Australians there's been quite a social media push in Australia about this as well. Haven't been able to really follow it that hard, but it has been moving on. And this is an article out of RT about the farmers claiming persecution seeking refugee status in Australia as their land is seized and their means of livelihood are taken from them. So there's 200 farmers from South Africa have applied for humanitarian visas. This is from 22nd, couple days ago. So the politicians in Australia are playing a little bit with it because there's two courses of criteria they have to meet, and one is the evidence of persecution to gain that humanitarian visa status. So they're looking at that as the secretary down there in Australia that deals with that, what they call home affairs, said 89 refugee visa applications relating to 231 people have been received, although they did not specify their ethnicity or other details. And that's the interesting thing. There's another article that had, where did I see that? It was talking about that they were coming for all farmers' land. It didn't matter if you were white or not. There's plenty of, or a fair number of black farmers that are having their land confiscated by the government as well. Government land, communist government land grab, and I have to dig that one back up. I didn't talk about it in any of the morning chats, but I did see that out there. So people seeking visas. That's kind of a short one, but it's in the process, and a lot of the farmers are obviously already in the process of moving out of the country before somebody even moves on their land. Which, like I've said, I'd walk away burning the place down behind me, but as they don't have the means to resist in a lot of respects. So that's still going on in South Africa as it continues to devolve into a communist utopia between the water shortages and the land grab and the racial division. It can only go up, right? So another issue with refugees, we've often talked about the immigration issues here in America, but as Stan out in the side chat has brought up a lot about the Canadian issues. Canada is granting refugee status to fewer illegal border crossers. And we had a story last month sometime where they were talking about any temporary shelter and housing for refugees was full essentially, especially in, I think it was Eastern Canada was the article in particular in Toronto. And this is just following along that. Canada is rejecting refugee claims for people who cross the border illegally. It says here the government's seeking to dissuade, block, and turn back thousands more, according to data obtained by Reuters. That's got to hurt Trudeau's little heart to do that. But it's probably a matter of necessity considering the status of a lot of these individuals. Am I back, like, not transmitting? Maybe so. Okay. It looks like you can hear me, but you can't see it, can you? I think I've cut out my bandwidth. It's a sucky day. What is it? Is it Thursday? It's Thursday. Dang it. See, not realizing Thursday is always the worst day. I figured that much out. I shouldn't even have tried. I felt like I was trying to make up for the last 2 days. So yeah, Canada refugee status. Check it out. The article below will be in the links. Yeah, you can't see. Okay, got it. Just figured that out myself. Says more than 27,000 asylum seekers have walked across the Canadian-U.S. border since President Donald Trump took office. So everybody's leaving America, maybe? That'd be a good thing, right? You can have them, Canada. All right. Well, there's a bunch of links below for a lot of this that wasn't able to transmit over. I forgot Thursdays is just to check everything. That was the last thing I had pulled up. So that's fortuitous. But you all go out and have a good day. Enjoy what's remaining of your week, or if you're like Tony, you got the day off, enjoy that too. Yeah, it looks like the Google bug got us on. Yeah, Thursdays are horrible. I'm just have to reschedule this stuff around not doing Thursdays, I think. All right. We're going to cut it. You guys have a good day. We'll see you later. Live free.